the sound.
LA leakers. LA leakers.
Yeah, it's the LA Leakers on Shade 45. We're having a good time, man, hanging out with my dog, Chris Webby.
Yeah.
Learning more and more about him. I'm noticing your tattoos, and I read in an article that you're like a big, like, is it superhero fan or cartoon?
I would say, I mean, I am a big superhero fan on top, you know, but it's kind of just like that golden age, like 90s, like late 80s, early 90s type shit. Like, I got a Ninja Turtle tattooed on me. I got Super Mario cast from my wrist down to my lower back.
Optimus Prime in your rhymes.
Yeah, I got him on my chest, too.
Okay, all right. So, speaking of, you know, mid-90s, what were some of your influences coming up? Like, who were you listening to growing up made you fall in love with hip-hop?
Well, I mean, what I really started listening to when I was young was what, I mean, most kids do, which is what their parents listen to. So that was, you know, classic rock, reggae, you know.
Right.
And that gave me a really good base for understanding, a lot of blues, too, actually. Gave me a good understanding for just music and what good music is, you know what I mean? So, because a lot of hip-hop is, you know, questionable at times.
Right.
But, I mean, when I found hip-hop, I just understood that there's no better way to say what you got to say. You know, that's what the whole purpose of it is. And I would say the first song that really got me was it was when Chronic 2001 was coming out, and like that was my shit.
That was it, right?
That was my shit.
That's a timeless album.
I remember like taping "Forgot About Dre" like off of the radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because my parents wouldn't let me get the you know, the actual,
dirty version.
Yeah, the dirty version. So the best I could get sometimes. Or my friends would come over, I'd take their CD and just tape it on a cassette tape. Back when cassette tapes existed.
Absolutely.
And but yeah, man, that's really when I started. So like a lot of DMX, like Ludacris was just coming out around that time. Eminem, obviously. Snoop, Dre, Exhibit. You know?
Yeah. So from all over, from coast to coast, you definitely have.
Oh, absolutely.
And these people influenced your music. Now you can see pieces of it coming through.
For sure.
Now, what do you want like people to really get from this EP that's coming out? Like people who might hear you for the first time, or fans that have continued to grow with your progress. Like, what do you think people will get from this album?
Well, this EP, the EP was pretty much engineered towards people who haven't heard who I am. You know, there's a lot of people who haven't, you know, maybe they've heard my name but haven't given me a fair listen. Like, the EP is a setup for the album. The EP is going to be something you could bump all the way through, and you're just like, all right, word, like, let me see what he's got next. Right. And then the album is really going to tell the story. More so.
Okay, and then now you mentioned album. Is there an album title yet? Or
yes, I believe it's going to be called Chemically Imbalanced, which is the title track with Scott Storch that we already have in the can. So.
Fresh, man. Yeah. Fresh, man. And have you been working with I'm sure you're working with a bunch of people right now.
Yeah, we might go see Harry Fraud tonight. He's out here working on some shit. Yeah, he's on the EP too.
Okay.
And yeah, it's been great working with like some top level producers, man. It's dope.
I bet, man. Yeah. And I bet you're just soaking it in, like.
Oh man, I love beats, man. I could sit there and listen to instrumentals all day.
Yeah, I could tell from hearing your music that you're involved with everything. I don't know. I could be
absolutely
wrong.
No, and more so as of recently, especially from everything from videos. You know, I'll sit there and be like, "Yo, let's do that take one more time." Actually, you know what I mean? Like, or in the studio with the mixing. You know, I'm super hands on. I'm there for pretty much the whole process of the mixing.
There's probably we have a lot of students who listen to our show. They call us up all the time, and I'm sure there's people listening who have had similar walls to break down and challenges as an MC like you. I mean, what do you have to say to people who are out there on that same struggle, like just wanting to be heard and live their dream?
Yeah. I mean, I've been there, man. Anybody who's doing this professionally now has been there, and I mean, you just can't get discouraged in this game. Like, there's plenty of times where you just feel defeated.
Right.
You don't want to even, it's just you lose your heart for a second, but you got to be durable. You got to take the hit and get right the fuck back up and keep doing what you got to do.
I mean, I'm enjoying this time, man. It's the first time actually getting to sit down with you.
I think it came at the right time, though. This all makes sense now.
It
you know
does.
What I mean?
Yeah, it definitely does. And you're off and running now, man. For real. You got the brand new deal with E1. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Homegrown EP is coming out 11, 12, 13.
Yes.
And with about how many joints on this?
That's going to have 8 on it.
8 songs.
Yeah.
8 songs. Was it tough narrowing that down to 8?
I mean, I got 50 songs in the vault. Like I was telling you, man, there's some that I'm like, you know, like, this is dope. It just doesn't quite fit the vibe.
Right.
Or, like, this one's dope. It's got to be on the album. Like, you know what I mean?
So because you've got great mixtapes, now the EP and then the album. What's the recording process like, you know, when you're doing a mixtape? Is it just about bars and rapping and showing people what you got?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my approach at first to pretty much everything because I grew up in the cypher. You know what I mean? Like, I was a fucking animal back in my day. Back when I was in college, man, I was freestyling like, you know, up to 10 times a day, 20 times, you know what I mean?
Crazy.
Just keep hopping back in, a couple friends, just getting wasted and rapping. That was like my existence. You know, I don't freestyle as much as I once did because the whole vibe of that has changed. You know, now it's cameras and it's expected.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, I got to, you know, prove people wrong. They'd be like, you can't rap. Now it's like, dude, this better be dope. And you're like, shit.
The
you know?
landscape changes a little.
Yeah. But, I mean, I definitely had a cipher mindset on a lot of my earlier shit. And you just realize as you get a little bit older that, you know, you got to make some music too. And you got to make sure that everyone can kind of understand. Of course, I still have my obscure punchlines here and there that you got to have really studied in English to understand or seen this cartoon on Nickelodeon back in the 90s to understand.
Right.
You know, but like for the most part, it's just about making some like more universally understandable shit without making it suck.
Yeah.
You know, without really, as quote unquote, selling out, as they say.
Right.
You know, which I have no intention on doing. That's why I waited until I could get an indie deal and do whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really care about the fame and money aspect as much as I just kind of like love this hip hop shit. Like for real. Like I want to leave a legacy more so than make a quick buck. If I wanted to make a quick buck, I would have made different moves.
Right. And I could tell that from listening to your music right away. Like you're in this for the long haul. A tremendous future ahead of you, man. And
thank you, dude.
Hopefully this is the first of many times we get to sit down.
Absolutely.
So once again, I want to remind everybody, Homegrown will be out 11, 12, 13.
Yes.
Where do you urge people to go get that at?
That'll be up on iTunes.
iTunes, okay.
Yeah. I mean, any digital
server.
You know, yeah.
But iTunes is the quickest joint.
Yeah.
And you could be followed on Twitter at Chris Webby and Instagram, same thing.
Instagram's real Chris Webby. Someone beat me to just
you
Chris
hate that
Webby.
shit,
Yeah,
man.
man.
What the fuck, man?
Trying to keep it like cohesive.
Yeah.
And it's all, you know.
Son of a bitch, man.
Yeah.
It happened to me too on Instagram.
Yeah, man. You try to contact them, they don't respond. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
Come on,
man.
Bro. Fucking my shit up.
We're trying to make shit happen out here.
Yeah, because now I got to explain that every time.
Right.
It's like, yo, it could be so much easier if I was Twitter, Instagram, Chris Webby.
Yeah, well, just another one of these hip hop challenges. That
yeah,
we go
man.
through.
No, man. These battles you must fight. It's crazy.
Make sure y'all support this man and get the EP that's dropping 11, 12, 13. Look out for the album coming very soon.
Yes.
And further than that, what else can we expect? You know, more touring. More shows?
Definitely touring. Yeah, I'll be back out here. Definitely roll through next time. But yeah, I'll do a little run off the EP.
Okay.
And then definitely off the album. You know,
yeah.
I'm always on tour. I made sure that the past, like, honestly, I would say like 8 to 10 months. Really, I've been recording strictly.
Yeah.
So I got enough songs to kind of last a little while.
And are you excited about the current state of hip hop where it's at now? I mean, I could see, like, you know, just as a DJ, I'm playing more rap records and people are really open back up, you know. Being from LA, of course, Kendrick Lamar comes to mind first.
Absolutely.
You mentioned Dizzy,
being
right?
from Connecticut.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's funny. Yeah, real shit. I mean, does that excite you? Does that make you feel like,
absolutely,
you know what I mean? Like, I knew this the whole time and I'm just going to keep on my groove. You know, I'll let you speak on that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the craziest thing is, and we're really seeing it for the first time, is like a lot of the legends that like I grew up listening to are just getting older and they don't have as much to say.
Right.
And I feel like there was a bit of a lull there for a little bit where they're just, you know, a lot of things were getting through the cracks that weren't necessarily the greatest.
Right. And
music,
then people were
hip-hop.
making certain hip hop that's just going to conform to one genre, one listener or radio or whatever.
Yeah.
And
people really chasing radio. That's one thing. Like, I don't chase. I never have chased radio. You know what I mean? Like, and when the time comes, the time will come. But if you just try to use someone else's formula and regurgitate it, it's just, you know,
small time shit too. It's like it's not. And what you mentioned a minute ago about being in it for the long haul, it seems like it's a quick buck. And I commend you on that, my man.
Thank you, man.
I commend you. I look forward to the EP. I look forward to the album. And when you come back on those tour runs, please let us know, man.
Definitely.
Love to have you back up.
Definitely.
Thank you for stopping by the show.
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate you, brother.
LA. Leakers. L.A. Leakers.